Hey everyone, we have been working round the clock, quite literally, for the past couple of months, getting our new installer ready, and it is almost there. It's effectively there. So I'm going to go ahead and run through that installer from bare metal, no comfy UI, no nothing, and it's going to do all of the hard work for us. So first thing I'm going to do for now, this process is the last bits that we're finishing up, but for now I do have to go ahead and copy these over to our test area. So I'm going to copy these, going to bring them over to here, and I'm going to paste them in. And let me go ahead and get into this window here and bring up a command window. And this is going to launch our new installer. So this is not just the installer, the Shima Hub, and this is going to give you, as before, some information on the left that talks to you about what the install options are. All right. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to import a license key from Gumroad. Click in here, paste it in, and it is saving the settings. And from there, I'm going to go ahead and click on Comfy UI because you can see here, in addition to links to our website, YouTube, and Discord channels, right below that, it gives you a little status bar. And if it's red, it's needed, and if it's green, it's ready. So I am going to go ahead and click on Comfy UI, and it is going to start downloading and installing Comfy UI for us. And there it goes. Now, I will say that at the end, this install does come out to be pretty big. And that's because Comfy UI installations, when they have everything they need, just are naturally big. They are, filled with lots of different models for IP adapters and upscalers and control nets and checkpoints and LoRa's and a bunch of stuff that you need. And so one of the past things that people have said about it is like, oh my gosh, the install's so big. And it really isn't. It's just that it's like the frog in a pot, right? Like it doesn't notice if it's being boiled slowly. So that's kind of what happens with other people's installations. They just creep up in size over time. What we've managed to do is get the entire installation down to about 98 gigs for a full install. But the nice thing is that that's not just for our stuff. That's for everything that you're going to need to do, right? That includes, some checkpoint models, a couple of checkpoint models, both the base models and then the ones that we've chosen, Dynavision and Real Cartoon 3D version 13 are what comes with it. On top of that, we have every control net, we have every IP adapter, with the exception currently of Insight Face, and we even put FMMPEG in there. So everything is in there. And so not only will this help you on this installation, but it'll help you on virtually everything you do with Comfy UI. So I'm going to go ahead and pause as it finishes up its installation here, just so you're not watching dead screen. And it's finishing up. There we go. It's checking to see if wget is installed and git is installed. Both of them are. Let's go back over here, and we will see now that we have satisfied this dependency. We are now ready to install. So we have three different options. This is one of the small things that we have to fix. As an example, we have a tooltip on here, and the tooltip is ridiculous because it doesn't have line breaks or anything. So we have little visual things like that to finish up, and that's really why we're not releasing it today, quite frankly, but we'll be releasing it very, very soon. So we can choose install all. That's the whole roughly 98 gigs, models, custom nodes, and everything. You can also choose to just install the custom nodes that we have, as well as JavaScript extensions to LightGraph. And that is so that if you're keeping multiple installations, like I do, for instance, I have a dev installation and I have a stable installation, And then down here also you can refresh your files that we use for the inputs, and as well as giving you links to additional inputs like depth maps and things like that. That would be this third installation. But we're going to go ahead and go crazy and install all. And then we are going to click go. And when we do that, behind the scenes, it's going to go ahead and start installing our models. And from there, it's going to go ahead and start downloading all of our stuff. Right now, it's going to start off by installing SDXL base with the VAE fix. It's also going to install the refiner. Then it'll install a 1.5 model called Real Cartoon 3D version 13. And then it will also install Dynavision XL on the XL side. Past that, it'll do IP adapters, control nets, embeddings, variety of other things. So I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the window. And this process is going to take a while because that's just how it is. As it goes, it's going to show the progress of the current file. And this is done, basically by file size, whereas the total is based off of the number of files. As smaller files get downloaded very rapidly, it will jump ahead because the number of files is rapidly decreasing. Right now, the number of files is still just one out of a bunch, and so this bar isn't moving very much. This is a bit like watching paint dry, but you'll notice also here that we have our license code, and now you get announcements down here, which are fed from the server. So we have our thanks to some of our fabulous Discord community, Seatown Sin, Frank Castle, Polaris FX, Cromag, Conwick, Konakiria, of course Mortal, Raff, etc. MVPJ, all those guys, as well as many others. Come over and join us. That's what this button is for, and we can help you use the system most effectively, as well as if you're a member, you get access to pre-release templates and things like that, and you can influence the development of the system. So it's going to almost here finish up with our SDXL base, and we'll let it get through that process. And once it does and moves on to the next model, you'll see what happens here. And then I'm going to pause it until the rest is done. So it is now doing our XL in-paint model. And with that, I'm going to pause it until this process is over, because you don't really want to watch 98 gigabytes of stuff download. By the way, coming out of pause really quick, just to let you know that the command window is obviously still accessible to you, so you can see what's going on behind the scenes here. Nothing is hidden or anything like that. And up here, if you want an exact percentage on a particular file, this is where you can see it. So we're at 22% on our in-paint model. All right, and then a little while later, all repositories have been cloned. It actually didn't take as long as I thought it was going to, and so when I came back from the pause, it had already downloaded and installed all of the dependencies as well. And at this point, we can install our templates, and it has now updated our templates. And finally, we can launch Shima. We should be able now to go ahead and go to our AegisFlow Shima templates, which are now in their own setup here with dividers, as opposed to the previous node template method, which they're located in here because I already had them from development, but this would actually be blank, and this is for saving your own, right? But the actual templates, so that we don't overwrite anything that people may have customized or whatever, and the ones that we will update will go into here. So let's go ahead and place a commons, place a sampler, move that over there, place a loader. Should have done that in the other order. My apologies. But the nice thing is that it doesn't actually matter. Let's go ahead and show our UA links. Everything's working, everything's loading. And let's start a generation. And there we go. I did pause for a second while it loaded the initial models, but I can always, of course, generate new stuff. All good. That's it, guys. It is very close to finished. So start to finish, the entire install process for me took probably about 45 minutes. Most of that, of course, is just going out to lunch or dinner while you wait for stuff to get downloaded and installed by the installer. But no muss, no fuss. One last thing is that it does also build, for Windows users at the very least, install icons in your program files, your start menu, as well as on your desktop. So just like before. But the great thing now is that it is not the same Windows installer. It doesn't require, the very large binaries or anything. The installer itself is actually very small because it's going out and grabbing everything and cloning the repositories and whatnot for you all at once. It also does away with any permissions related errors that we had with the other installer where you're having to take control of Git directories and such. So this is just a much cleaner, much more efficient way of doing it. Happy with the way it came out. Eternally grateful to Mortal for all his hard work on the programming side. I did a little bit, but behind the scenes, the installer was all him. So kudos and thank you again, my dear Dutch friend. Awesome. All right. Bye, everybody.